Up next, I wanted to have a chat about the holy grail of clean tone. I believe I found it. I should preface this by saying that anything that I talk about from here on out on this part of the podcast is 100% opinionated, and I just came to this conclusion through experience with the amplifiers that I've owned in the past in comparison to the brand new Fender Super Reverb amplifier that I got. Man, that thing is, to my ear, the holy grail of clean tones, and I love it. I think it sounds every bit as good as I hoped it would, and more. I mean, it's just left all the other amps I've had in the past for my style of music for dead. I've owned twins, and I know a lot of people love Fender twins. For me, they're a little bit hard sounding. I'm not a country player, I'm a blues player. I like being able to turn up the amp and get it to that point where it's about to clip or where it clips, and then I can chuck a pedal on in front of that and it goes to town. I love that about the Super Reverb. It just has a full, sweet, lush kind of sound about it that I've never had on an amp. And I'm just going to read off a couple of other amps that I've had in the past, and just so you can, put this in context to how I feel about this amp. I've had a Fender Twin, a Fender Blues DeVille, the 212 model, a 65 Deluxe Reverb, a 68 Deluxe Reverb, a Hot Rod Deluxe, two Fender Blues Deluxe amplifiers, two different two-rock amplifiers, and a Supersonic 60, which was fantastic as well, the Vox AC30, and a VC30 by Laney. Now, I've had other amps as well, but they're the ones that I can recall from off the top of my head from this list that I've got here. They're the other amps that I would put in the same category of like price and all that kind of stuff, like you expect good things from them and you get good things from them. So I don't want to dismiss those other amps. The Super Reverb is a very different amplifier to, say, a 65 Deluxe Reverb. And I only mean that basically because of the speaker configuration, the tube configuration. It's got a different power section. It's got that big, fat 6L6 sort of sound to it, which I absolutely love. And that's why I went back to the Fender Blues Deluxe reissue recently, because it has that big sort of warmth about it on the lows. I love the clean channel on that amp. The 65 Deluxe Reverb amp has the 6L6 tubes, great tone, nice and portable, light, a very different amp. I guess one of the downsides of a Super Reverb is the size for some people. A lot of people will feel that it's a bit big. It's not really that heavy. I don't think it's any heavier. I haven't checked the actual weight ratios or anything, but I don't think it's much heavier than, or if it is heavier than a Supersonic 60, it would be a very similar weight, except it's a lot taller. So, it's a different thing when you pick it up. It's sort of closer to the ground, or at least for a short ass like me, it's closer to the ground when you pick it up. I just get it around on a little trolley and it's no worries at all. But for me, that's the clean tone I've been looking for. It's got the nicest reverb sound I've heard on any amplifier. It sounds wet and round in all the nice ways. And yeah, just getting the volume up to 4.5 to 5 at a gig recently totally blew my mind, and it absolutely changed my playing. I played with a lot more self-control, I guess, just hearing great tone. I played one note and it hung around. It takes pedals great. The one thing I noticed probably more than anything is even when you stack an overdrive in there that sometimes will roll out your highs, these 10-inch speakers do something really cool that I haven't had on any other amp. They sort of still give you the note clarity, and for me that's pretty special. You can hear all your notes even with a bit of drive or distortion or overdrive, whatever. You're still going to get your nice sort of attack on the note. So Super Reverb for me, holy grail of amps. Back to another Fender amp. This is one that I already know I'm going to have for a very, very long time, unless I'm desperate for cash. But yeah, I see this as an investment. It's going to be the amp that I can take to gigs, that I can just wheel it in. I'm not going to carry it up a flight of stairs or anything like that, but it's going to be around. You're going to see it in a lot of live video clips that I use, which brings me to the next point. If you have a holy grail of clean tone, please let me know what it is. Leave all your comments below, and yeah, if you're on YouTube, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, I love Fender amps. I'm a huge fan of all of them. And I should also say that the Fender Super Reverb isn't like a better amplifier, put that in quotation marks, than some of these other ones that I mentioned. It's just my personal preference. I absolutely love it. This, a deluxe reverb is such a great amp. I could use that any day of the week as well, for example. So it's just a different speaker configuration, tube configuration, all that kind of stuff. So let me know what you think is the holy grail of clean tones.